Oh hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Arkitsu and welcome to my very first video. So, have you ever wondered how to build this specific monster hunter weapon there? So, lucky you, I don't have a fucking clue either. Let's get at it. Before we can actually start crafting, we have to find a reference picture or 3D model for the weapon. For this case, Google is going to be your best friend. First we search in Google for Monster Hunter World Iceborne 3D models. In the following results, we click on a Reddit link. This will lead to an open source 3D model viewer. In this web viewer we search for our weapon. It's called Corona. Yes, like the virus. So it doesn't matter if we choose Corona or Corona Plus, they got the same model. I changed the background to black cause it's way easier for the eyes. This is a pretty nice 3D model we can use to make our blueprint. Just make some screenshots of it for future reference and a front and side view for our blueprint. The program I use for creating the blueprint is called Inkscape and can be downloaded for free on their website. The first thing is to change our document properties. In the window that now shows up, change the orientation to landscape. I forgot to change the size of the page to the later model size, but more to that later. After setting up our page, we import our picture of the 3D model we took before. As you can see in the content of the folder, I already did some research of the weapon myself before I found the 3D model. In this pop-up, I didn't change anything. Now the picture is imported, in my case way too big for the actual page, so I'm gonna resize it. Don't forget to lock the width to height ratio. As you can see, we have layers. My layer 1 is the layer for the picture. To make drawing over it easier, I changed the opaque to 50%. For drawing I create a new layer 2 and lock the layer 1 so I don't accidentally move it around. Now I do a rough trace of the blade structure. Sadly, the 3D model has some perspective problems. I try to compensate that myself. After the main trace is done, I use the path edit tool to round my rough shapes. As I want to give my blade some nice light effects, I am tracing a middle shape to separate the EVA foam from the LT45 foam. I hope this is going to work out the way I got it in mind. I know that the two sides aren't identical, I will only use one half to trace it on the foam anyway, so I'm going to have a nice, hopefully symmetrical sword in the end. For the last few strokes I'm using a different color, so I know exactly where my scaly and spiky part is going to be. I plan on using foam clay for that. I never used foam clay in my life, so wish me luck with that. Voila, now we got the blueprint ready. Additionally, I resized the drawing to the size I wished to use. But first I had to know how big the sword is going to be. For that I took a wooden folding ruler and resized it to the point I was happy with. It is a one-handed sword, even though I know that Monster Hunter weapons are absurd in size, I chose a more real-life size. I want to swing it full size without having to worry about it getting ripped by the floor. So 80 centimeters or around 31.5 inches is what I went with. Before thinking about what materials to actually use, I want to create a basic idea. For that, I load the blueprint into OneNote. This yellow edge is where I want my LD45 LED foam. In the middle, where the holes of the sword are, I choose a very thin wooden plate. Later on I try to combine it with a wooden rod to have a bit more stabilizing, but I actually don't know how I should do this yet. But I keep it in mind if I need it. That's the brown lines. Additionally, I sandwich the wooden core between 3 or 4 EVA foam layers that are about 1 cm thick. I mark this in grey. Because I have a 3D printer and I want to use it, I'm going to print out the complete handle. Naturally, you could use a plastic tube or something equal as a handle and use EVA foam to get the shape right. This is what I'm coloring blue. Now the red is going to be the foam clay, which I will use to form the organic Rathalos shapes and horns. On the 3D print I'm going to have a magnetic panel. Under this I can store my power bank for the LED lights, so the steel block is going to open to slide in a power bank. On the EVA foam layer I'm going to cut away some pieces so it will just fit right in. Around the EVA core I will glue on the LEDs. My USB cable goes under the EVA foam into the hole with the power bank. That's why I won't yet cut out the third bottom hole next to the block. With this plan in mind, let's talk about the main materials and tools I'm going to use next. Sorry if I forgot to name some. We need EVA foam, LED foam, a wood rod for the center, some normal wood, a few LEDs, quick seal, contact glue, flex bond for priming, wood glue, some airbrush paint, and for good measurement I throw it down. Remind you again, this is not all the material I use, just the things I came up with on the spot. For tools I use different knives, a heat gun, a Dremel, an airbrush, a hot glue gun and some brushes. Now let's have some printing action. Excitement! After printing the pattern out, I use sticky tape to put the pieces together. After that I cut out the blueprint, so I can later use it to draw on my EVA foam. I repeated this process 2 times because of different layers I'm using. For the last part of this video, I'm going to show you how I 3D modeled the handle and the grip. I won't provide you with further information for this step because I'm not a good 3D modeler myself, and so I can provide you with good information for this process. If you want, I can make a separate video about this step. Also, if you are interested in any other steps of this video, I can make a separate video for them as well. So feel free to drop suggestions about this into the comments. Well, that was my workflow on how to build or how to inform myself about how to build a prop and how to begin with working on a prop. This isn't a scripted ending. English is not my main language, so sorry if the pronunciation is a bit awkward. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope to have a better audio quality for camera talking in the next video, so I can provide you with a nicer footage, because build itself will be more on hand. So I will also talk about the build while I am creating it. So let me know down in the comments how you enjoyed the video. What do you want to know about more? Should I make extra videos on something, how I've managed to do some things, or just tell me what do you like to see next. For the next video I plan on just creating the base structure of the blade, show you how to build, how to Dremel the thing, how to install the LEDs. Coloring the prop won't be in the next video, so I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye.